road to the Final Four. We've got action today from Lexington, Kentucky. It's the SEC. Auburn looking for the season sweep against the Wildcats. Along with Jim Spinarkle, great to be with you. Jimmy, not exactly where these two teams thought they would be in mid-February, but they also believe they can still turn their seasons around.
Yeah, and the two of these teams are really searching for chemistry on the offensive end and consistency. But keep in mind, with the pace this afternoon, I would think it's going to go up and down. Auburn likes to score about 80 points a game, and Kentucky has been upticking it the last 3 or 4 games.
All right, let's check out our fast analysis. It's presented by AT&T 5G.
Yeah, and if you like point guards, Sharife Cooper is one to watch. He's averaging just under 9 assists a game, and you talk about a point guard trying to help his teammates out with the lob passes, just delivers it perfectly, and the timing is always there. The other side of the equation, Kentucky will look to continue to shoot the ball from the three-point line. The last 4 games, it's been a little bit better, and they hit for 14 of them in their last outing, so watch for a lot of pick and pops. The big guys will get involved, but that's what John Calipari wants them to do, shoot and shoot quickly.
All right, let's check out the starting lineups for Auburn. It's Cooper, Flanagan, Cambridge, Williams, and Thor. Kentucky, Askew, Mintz, Boston, Jackson, and Sarr. Wildcats suffering through a 4-game losing streak. They dropped 7 of their last 8. Kentucky enters action at 5-13, 4-7 in the conference. This is uncharted territory for John Calipari as the head coach at Kentucky. Auburn won the first meeting between these two teams back on January the 16th, 66-59. Bruce Pearl's team is coming off a 73-67 win over Vanderbilt on Tuesday night. That snapped a 3-game losing streak. We talked to John Calipari earlier today. Jimmy, obviously, this has been a disappointment for the team, but he believes that they are getting better. He believes they're about ready to break through.
Yeah, and as we know, with Cal, it's always about motivation for his team. And a lot of times when they're playing very, very well, Ian, he doesn't have to motivate them all that much. But this particular team here, because they're so young, and because, quite candidly, because of COVID this year, the continuity not there. So Cal is basically spending a lot of time trying to keep these guys mentally sharp.
So we are set for action. Isaiah Jackson for Kentucky. He's been dominant on opening tips. He is 8-1. And this one will go Kentucky's way. Wildcats control it. They have not played a game this season with their full complement of players. We talked about the youth. Sarr is one of the experienced ones. Kick out. Boston misses it from the outside and cleared by Cambridge.
Yeah, one of the things early just then in that set, watch for Kentucky to try to go to a big guy and then at the same time kick it out for the 3.
Trying to get it inside. Ball gets knocked around. Auburn turns it over. Askew ahead. Pull up pop. Mintz short. Rebounded by Thor, the freshman for the Tigers.
We've seen it on 2 possessions already. John Calipari saying if you're open, shoot the basketball. If you don't shoot the open shot, then I'm going to take you out of the game. But the problem with that is, Ian, I think sometimes you can shoot it too quickly. That may have been too fast on that trip.
Auburn has lost 18 straight at Rupp. Trying to end that streak.
Good
inside, all alone, and Cambridge couldn't finish it. So slow out of the gates for both of these teams. Cambridge again finds himself by himself underneath for 2.
And how about the delivery by Cooper just then? The second time he touches the basketball, he finds him. Even though Cambridge missed that first shot, ready to go a second time, Kentucky slipping defensively early on.
Cooper has great feel. He's highly skilled. Get it inside. Wow. That shot was way off on the attempt by Jackson.
Yeah, keep in mind, both of these teams block about 6 shots per game, so everything should be contested, especially down deep.
Both top 5 in college hoops. J.T. Thor from the outside.
One of the things that Auburn has the luxury of, Ian, when you're not playing in front of 20,000 people at Rupp Arena, you come in a young team and you're not rattled all that much as you normally would playing against 20,000 fans.
Sarr misses on the rainbow delivery. Here's Cooper, had it stripped for a moment, kick it out. Can Thor go back to back? He cannot. Rims out. Rebound controlled by Askew.
And even though Kentucky has not scored, the pace at both ends offensively going up and down, looking for opportunities. Nice
Here's
hands.
Sarr putting it down low. He gets it stripped by Cambridge, who got a piece. Nice interception there by Boston. Askew not looking to shoot initially. Off the kick. The experience of Mintz has certainly been on display this season for Kentucky in this young group. Mintz, the transfer from Creighton.
And may have gotten away with a little step down low just then.
Mintz running one-hander, doesn't go. Out of bounds, last touched by Auburn.
Well, the one thing with Auburn, they keep it hopping all the time, and you notice the little dish out there for Thor to shoot that ball from long range. Not a great shooter, under 30% from the three-point line. But I'll tell you, it makes it a whole lot different when Cooper, who's been in this, playing the 10 last games or so for Auburn, has made a huge difference in the way these guys are shooting the ball and how comfortable they are on the floor.
First 5 possessions for Kentucky, 0 of 4 and a turnover, and a foul called along the baseline. And it was Cardwell who just checked in, young big out of Augusta, Georgia, gets charged with a personal. So the pace, I know you were expecting it. These two teams are young. Auburn will push it. Kentucky not playing necessarily the same style that John Calipari has grown accustomed to.
No, for sure. And you look at the numbers sometimes, 4 possessions to make a big difference in the numbers in terms of ranking. But Cal's going to try to get them scoring, or at least looking to score a little quicker.
Boston couldn't finish it on the inside, and Kentucky is still looking for its first points of the day, out of bounds.
And just about every shot in the paint for Kentucky has been contested, not necessarily blocked, but Auburn's defense, as with Kentucky, will make you hurry and look for a defender.
The craftiness of Cooper, at some point you're going to see him find a small opening and turn it into a driving layup.
And watch his closing ability also. Very, very good once he gets within 3 or 4 feet of the basket to close.
Cooper and Boston, former AAU teammates, going head-to-head. Ball on the floor. Shot clock violation tracked down by Mintz. So good effort there by Mintz just to get to it. And Auburn runs out of time.
And you notice there with Cooper, Cooper was trying to set him up to go by him, to go to the lane. One of the things he has not developed in his game yet is that mid-range shot. And that was an opportunity for him to maybe set himself up for a 15-footer rather than trying to force the action and drive it.
And that's what Bruce Pearl told us. His vision, his anticipation, off the charts, great speed. The mid-range game is an area where he will need to make improvements. Loop it inside. Jackson got a good look at it. Rips it away, and he is fouled. So they're not getting buckets to go down, but the effort has been there, and Isaiah Jackson will shoot a pair.
Yeah, Thor had a chance to get this ball in the defensive glass, and you'll notice the second opportunity by Jackson, who just kept with the play and went after it. A good finisher underneath for John Calipari's Kentucky team.
Jackson has some good bounce. He's got that wingspan, 7'2", from Pontiac, Michigan. And we know how it works at Kentucky. It's freshmen.
Yep.
And then the next year, it's more freshmen. And then the following year, it's more freshmen. And for the most part, John Calipari, through his years, has figured out a way to create chemistry and connectivity. This year, based on all the circumstances, it just has not happened for this group.
Yeah, the total experience he mentioned to us, the experience is just not there for these players, as with a lot of schools.
Sure.
So John Calipari never said that he was the only one going through this. He said everybody's dealing with it, but it's difficult. You feel for these college kids.
They tried to toss it into Flanagan. Turnover. 5-2 lead for Auburn. Jumper doesn't go for Mintz. Rebound and slam! Big finish, Isaiah Jackson.
Well, staying on that offensive glass, he's been really playing well with the rebounding.
And there is Cooper getting to the rim.
The ability to just drive it and get there.
7-4 lead for Auburn.
Big time screen.
Askew, wraparound feed inside. Sarr fighting. And it will be a tie-up with Cardwell. Possession arrow to Auburn.
Well, stay on the offensive glass. That's one of the things that Bruce Pearl was concerned with, the ability for Jackson and his teammates to hit the offensive glass and to deliver.
CBS Sports college basketball coverage is sponsored by Progressive. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. Jersey Mike Subs. Be a sub above. And by the all-new 2021 Ford F-150. Tough this smart can only be called F-150. Kentucky playing without young Terrence Clarke, McDonald's All-American, major recruit, right ankle injury. He's logged just 7 games this season, expected to miss the next 4 weeks, which would mean he would miss the remainder of the season.
Yeah, and you talk about losing a guy who is going to be instrumental to them this year, and then also trying to figure out how does we turn the corner in February, which to me is the month, especially this year, to see some teams are playing well right now. Can they continue to play well in February or build off of it?
Jalen Williams gives it up. Ball gets knocked around and a foul called as Jamal Johnson is now in the game for Auburn. Keep in mind for Auburn, no Justin Powell, who got off to a terrific start this season, but Powell suffered a concussion and he's been out for an extended period for the Tigers.
It looked like Mintz out front just then showing the hands.
Shot clock is down to 11. Cooper handles it.
We'll see if Boston can keep him in front, but he's very good at finding people.
Chris Moore in, shot clock winding down. Jumper goes Jamal Johnson. Transfer from Memphis, and the shooting numbers have been on the rise.
Yeah, and interesting enough there too, Cooper was kind of the hockey assist. He kicked it from the left side to the right side, then back to the left. That's what you want to do to trigger it.
Rejected. It's Moore on the interior. I had the over-under for you mentioning a second sport at 5 minutes, so it was just over. You got hockey in, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Here's Cooper now.
Good to be back with you.
Yeah, agreed. 10-4 lead for Auburn.
Nice
lob it in off the entry. Falling down was Cardwell, and he is fouled on the play. Stream CBS Sports HQ, the completely free and always on sports news network. Highlights, breaking news, expert picks. Download the CBS Sports app on your phone or connected TV, and you can watch it today. Kentucky has started 1 of 10 from the field. Auburn is 4 of 6, and this is a bit of a microcosm of Kentucky's season.
Yeah, and you just have to, if you're Kentucky, you just got to keep battling away. And this is where not having 20,000 fans would be nice to have them help you. Good recovery there.
It's Askew defensively on Cooper. Some changes here with Keon Brooks Jr. into the game for Kentucky.
You watch this little backdoor cut. Nicely executed and good recovery. So that's not a great defensive play, and that's a great athletic play to get back in the play because he was beaten outside on the cut to the basket.
Lance Ware checks in. Auburn coughs it up. You know, it hasn't exactly been clean so far for the Tigers either. 4 turnovers. Brooks is someone that they'll lean on, the sophomore from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
And he fouled out in his last game in 23 minutes, so they need his action and his scoring too. Keep the pressure on people.
Dante Allen, former Mr. Kentucky, is in, and a jump shot goes from the outside, and a good looking stroke from Brooks.
Yeah, and only 25% from the season, so an up and down year so far for him, but if they can get the glue going in terms of the chemistry, try to figure it out, when to take the shots, and that's been a problem for Kentucky. When do we actually take our shots?
Catching fire, Johnson, no. Rebound, tapped up in the air, and Auburn's got it. Johnson again, not shy, and he cans a triple.
Well, the scouting report on him is pretty simple, Ian. 75% of his shots come from the three-point stripe, so find him. Don't leave him out there, especially for wide-open shots.
Kentucky enters action last in the SEC in shooting. That's a travel on Lance Ware, the Camden, New Jersey native.
I think Ware could have gone a little quicker on that first move rather than the second one. Good recovery off the offensive glass, and now it's all of a sudden it's just shooting practice. With the rotation, that's a shooter from long range. Hitting it only 35%. Generally, with the stroke he has, you would think that number would be a touch higher.
From Birmingham, Alabama, his father Buck was a star at Alabama, played in the NBA with Houston and Washington. Bodies bumping on the inside. Flanagan on a kick. Jump shot doesn't go for Williams. Long rebound. Body's knocked around.
I think that's going to be Williams out front, I think.
Williams is creating space. And a foul called off the rebound action.
Yeah, a classic example, though, when you have the guy shooting the basketball, he has to wait for it to go either in or out, really. You don't want to track a ball down, and that's a split second. Those are those 50-50 balls that John Calipari was saying to us. One of the key things for his team is make sure you win that battle of the loose balls.
Akingbola is in. for Auburn.
Yeah, a little congested on the right side. Now they're spacing a little bit better. That's what they want to try to do in their offensive executions.
Askew gives it up. Brooks creating for himself.
Oh, another block shot. Boy,
The
they're
denial.
good defensively.
Jalen Williams, he's averaging 1.5 blocks per game.
It's number 32 on the season for him. Notice how he stays and just watches the ball. I mean, it's a difference of getting a foul or not, but he just waits and times it. A lot of guys on Auburn, they mix it up too. They all block shots.
Sarr beats the shot clock, but he's off the mark, and it's rebounded by Flanagan.
Physical player here. Flanagan likes to drive, likes to attack.
And a travel.
Likes to walk.
Yep. I don't know if he likes it, but he got called for it. Alan Flanagan, major improvement from his freshman year to his sophomore year, the versatility that he brings, but his scoring average has jumped nearly 11 points per game.
And many more minutes, only getting 14 minutes a year last year, but a true factor now for Bruce Pearl.
Mintz back in. Askew trying to create.
Nothing looks easy for them, though, does it? It seems that there's a struggle at the offensive end.
Agreed.
Tips, deflections, and here we go the other way.
Johnson in transition, puts his head down, rejected on the inside.
Have to give Askew credit on that play, though. That allows Sarr to come back for the block defensively.
A lot of history between these two, Bruce Pearl and John Calipari. These two teams locked up in a classic battle in the 2019 NCAA tournament, with Auburn going to the Final Four. Auburn with the lead over Kentucky. Now it's time for the next greatest generation is now, presented by Army National Guard. Davion Mintz, senior grad transfer, came over from Creighton. He's pursuing his master's degree in kinesiology at Kentucky. Mintz was named as one of 30 candidates, along with teammate Olivier Sarr, for the Senior Class Award. Graduated from Creighton with a degree in marketing last May. I think he's been a really nice surprise for Kentucky. Combo guard, very competitive, strong work ethic, and someone for the younger guys to look up to on this Wildcats roster.
And I know you know this, Ian, but that major is the mechanics of body movements. So
yes, we're doing a deep dive. I didn't realize.
I did. I researched that while I was sitting down.
That makes perfect sense, Jimmy. I think you do most of your research sitting down.
Just don't want to go too high. Don't want to hurt myself doing research.
Well, right now, Kentucky's struggles continue on the offensive end. The miss by Williams and the follow for Auburn.
Nice job by Williams following up his own shot just then also. Did you see that set for Auburn, though? I think that's a little bit of what Kentucky has to do. Either force the action on the blocks or try to drive it by some people, because at 1 for 5 from 3, that's not getting it done. There you go.
Brooks hangs and hits. Keon Brooks plays with a confidence. You could tell when he's out there, he's bringing a different energy.
Yeah, and I think both coaches just then, interesting enough, sent the same message to their teams. Let's get this thing going towards the paint. Let's make guys put defenders underneath.
Jumper from Jalen Williams. He has really added to his game. Another player that's made a big jump with a lot more opportunity in year 2.
Yeah, and actually shooting the ball much better. 38% from the three-point line, and also an offensive rebounder.
Boston with an ankle breaker. Can he step back and hit it? He can. A highlight for B.J. Boston. You can call him Brandon. You can call him B.J. If you call made threes, he's okay
he's
with
even
either.
happier.
18-12.
Better defensive job in the middle of the paint there by Kentucky. Let's see if they can get something. Go to the
Tigers
hoop
turn it over.
There
Brooks
you go.
Gets inside for the deuce.
Smart. Run that ball. A lot of times we see guys flare to the three-point line, get going somebody down the middle of the floor. That was a terrific pass, though, to set him up with one little power dribble to the basket.
And Brooks has scored a quick 7 points in 4 minutes of action. Flanagan handles. Tight defense there from Mintz. Flanagan lets it fly. Can't hit the three. Out of bounds.
Not so sure about that shot if you're Auburn. So better defensive job by Kentucky.
12 of America's toughest men and women will compete in real-world challenges. Their strength, endurance, and coolness under pressure will prove who's the toughest. Phil Kogan hosts a new Tough as Nails Wednesday at 8, 7 Central, or you can stream it anytime on CBS. So Brooks has scored 7. The rest of Kentucky's team has scored 7. And the Wildcats are down by 4 against Auburn.
Which is not bad considering shooting 5 for 16 from the floor as Cooper gets called on the bump outside against Mintz.
Cooper did not fare well in the first meeting. In fact, it's his lowest point total of the season. He had 11 points first time these two teams met against Kentucky. Kentucky struggled early. They've picked up the offense since. Keon Brooks, too strong. Rebound bounces off of Flanagan. He does track it down. Break opportunity, and it's right through the hands of Javon Franklin. Turnover number 8 in the first half for Auburn. So this was the first meeting with Cooper having a tough time. Brooks was there to greet him. And we mentioned that mid-range game is still developing, but even Cooper getting to the rim was a bit of a problem. Nice answer on the other end. Jacob Toppin is in, and he knocks it down from the outside.
Yeah, and in the last 3 or 4 possessions, Kentucky looks like they have kind of known one another a little better than they did in the first 4 minutes of this basketball game.
Down to a 2-point lead for Auburn.
Watch the backside, looking for that opportunity to drive. Good help from the power side defender.
That pass gets knocked to the sideline, out of bounds. Auburn will retain with 7 to shoot, and Bruce Pearl upset. This has not been a high execution level.
Well, and here's just the set for Kentucky. And nothing but a little pin down cut up by Toppin just then to shoot that little 15-footer or so. Nicely designed play, but it's a sequence of events.
Yeah.
It's the chemistry on the offense that you're looking for and searching for as Kentucky continues to work at it. Nice pass.
Did Flanagan get away with a walk is the question. He gets to the rim, count it, and a foul.
Nice
That
little
ends a 7-0 run.
Yeah, nice little handoff by Williams just then. Little hit to the post, and you cut right by him. That's one of the things about this team. You know, they do play aggressive basketball, and you'll see along the baseline here, Flanagan goes after it, and he's a physical, strong player, too. Knows how to use that body at 6'6" or so, and just powers his way along the baseline. Nice set by Auburn.
His dad, Wes, is an assistant at Auburn. He was coached in high school by his grandfather, Alfred, so you get the gist of it. This is a family affair with the Flanagans.
And he had a good game the first game. He had 21 points in that first meeting against Kentucky. So a guy who might just like the matchups. We'll watch that as it goes along.
Second foul called against Boston for Kentucky. 21-16 Auburn. Mintz surveys. Full contact.
I don't know, is that a push off by Mintz?
It is a foul on Mintz as he caught Cooper.
Now watch for the shoulder action once he gets inside. Now he has the right of way. And that's a tough call because he does throw that shoulder at him. And does Cooper initiate the contact? That's what I always look for. Who initiates the contact? But second foul on Mintz, may have to make a decision there.
Cooper lines it up. Off the mark. High for the rebound. Toppin, who can get upstairs. Jackson tried the quick move. Bank shot, no, but a foul. And Isaiah Jackson earns another trip to the free throw line. Auburn maintains the lead. Kentucky, though, showing signs of life in that first half. Back to Lexington after this on CBS. Time to take a look at the Jersey Mike Subs game summary. Kentucky is 6 of 18 from the field. Auburn making 3-pointers, 4 of 9. Big key here. Turnovers for the Tigers, and Kentucky taking advantage of it to the tune of 11 points off of turnovers. Jimmy Keon Brooks Jr. came in and he changed the game.
He has. I mean, he's just playing just smooth basketball. Shoots the ball from the outside. Watch the hang on this one. He just hangs just a little bit, let the defender go by. One power dribble to the basket, pushing it to the middle of the floor. I think you're going to see both of these teams do a little bit more of that, especially Kentucky to take care of some of their length and their size on the blocks.
Kentucky has never lost 5 in a row under John Calipari, now in his 12th year as the head coach. And if you want to go through the program history, Jimmy, this is hard to wrap your brain around. They have never lost 3 straight at Rupp. Rupp opened in 1976. A loss today would be the 3rd straight loss at home for Kentucky.
Yeah, and his 11 seasons, just amazing in Lexington. 185 and 13. Staggering.
They started the season 3-0 in SEC play, now 4-7 in the conference. This is the 118th all-time meeting between these two programs, and it's a series that has been dominated by Kentucky.
Let's see if Cooper can get a little untracked here. They're going to come back to him as they do right there. He sets it up first, then he gets the ball right back. Watch the drive to his right, closed in.
Feed it off for Cambridge, shot clock at 12. Clear it for Flanagan.
Cooper will get it back, obviously, in around 10 seconds and under.
Cooper against Toppin. Penetrates, fades, and hits. Sharif Cooper uses every bit of that shot clock and still gets the deuce.
And really not the move of a freshman just then, dragging people to the middle of the floor. And you notice when he stopped, the defender kept going because they just don't know when he's going to stop.
Fade away, Toppin. Well designed and well executed for Kentucky.
Yeah.
Nothing that intricate either.
No, just a simple set down, and they're running him plays for his 7 to 10 foot jump shots.
Cooper goes down hard. He had it denied on the interior. 23-19 Auburn.
Good drive. Good drive.
Blocked on the inside. Keon Brooks Jr. couldn't get a clean shot off. Cooper the other way, a bump and a foul. Toppin ends up on his backside.
So Cooper has to remember, if you're going to hesitate, as he likes to do, to kind of drag that ball through the middle of the floor, you have to be aware of the fact that these teams block shots. Both Kentucky, their length, and Auburn will close on you, as they just did for Brooks on the sideline.
So the block on one end for Allen, the block on the other side for Cardwell. We're talking about two of the top 4 programs blocking shots this year, with Florida and Hampton 1 and 2. There's Auburn and Kentucky.
Now let's see on the offensive end. Let's see if Cooper adjusts his game a little bit. Ian, knowing that what you just mentioned about this Kentucky defense, does he try to throw a floater up? Does he stop from 8 feet away and pull up for a little floating jump shot? We'll see if he makes that adjustment. Or sometimes young players just continue to drive it to the basket.
Auburn, the youngest team in college basketball in terms of experience. And this is the youngest team Bruce Pearl has ever had as a head coach. Cooper sets, in and out. Rebound, Cardwell. Cooper on the dribble drive. Beautiful fake.
And not only that, that little bit of a hesitation, but taking care of the offensive glass.
Cooper missed the first 11 games of the season. The NCAA was still investigating his eligibility. Jump shot, Toppin, no. Rebounded by Cooper. Kentucky wanted a carry on Cooper.
And that might be glass. Off the glass.
They want a goaltend call.
Yeah.
That's not the call on the floor.
That may have been before the play, a little bit of a bump possibly.
Devin Cambridge on a pretty move to the rim. He thought this should have counted, with Toppin there initially, and then flying in Jackson.
Yeah, a little concerning there. I think the foul may have been a little bit before that, because it looked to my eye that got off the glass, so that would have been 2. May have been a bump on the first part of that drive to the basket.
That's what they call, Jimmy. Foul on Jacob Toppin on the initial close. It's number 2.
These coaches work the sidelines, though, don't they, both of them?
They do. And Bruce has got a full beard.
He sure does.
It's a new look for Bruce. He didn't know how it would come in. You asked him about it. You were very curious about his facial hair.
He was hoping that there'd be a little, he knew a little salt and pepper, hoping for more pepper,
Yeah, no,
but I don't know.
It's a lot of salt. It's very salty. Cooper, great handles.
Whoa,
Rejected. Do not go in there on Sarr. Rebound gets knocked around, and off the second shot, Askew's got it for Kentucky.
Cooper tried that little pull-up.
Allen, beautiful looking jump shot. Dante Allen can really light it up from the outside.
And his minutes have been limited in the last 3 games or so. So another guy that John Calipari is trying to get on track, get him some flow to his game, and especially if he can shoot the ball like that, that would be a big plus.
Thor goes in, knock around. Akingbola could not get a clean shot off.
3 Kentucky players around him. Looked like a grab on the arm, possibly. They let it play on.
Jackson, handoff. Allen blocked on the outside, deflected, Good effort and out of bounds. Sarr caught it, but he was laying on the baseline.
So remember I was talking about that little pull-up shot going to the basket for Cooper? He pulls up at like 3 or 4 feet from the basket. And there are the 3 Kentucky players just not letting it happen underneath. One of the things John Calipari was talking about to us this morning. Can we get our guys to play much more physical basketball? Looks like they have done that a little bit at the defensive end, especially under the basket.
Auburn had lost 3 in a row to Baylor, Georgia, and Ole Miss. Jumper is pure from the corner. J.T. Thor. 28-22, Auburn. Sarr, turnaround, book it.
He's a guy that they really need to shoot the ball. They were setting him up in their last game for 3-point shots to spread the floor, and he has reacted, shooting it much better. He was 3 for 5 the other night in the loss against Arkansas from the 3-point stripe.
Transfer from Wake Forest. Crafty play. Cooper lost it, tried to feed it. Out of bounds. Last touch by Kentucky. 3:55 to play in this first half. 28-24. Auburn. Kentucky trying to generate offense.
Yeah, nice to have a 7-footer who can stick one from 15 feet away. Kentucky staying close. Versus quad 1. Very good record right there. How will they play after the layoff?
Yep.
Always a big question.
Off the inbounds, Thor kick to Cooper with Auburn leading by 4.
Step there a little bit out front, but 15 feet away. Looked like he shuffled the feet.
It is a travel on Sharif Cooper and another Auburn turnover. That is 9 in the first half.
Yep, that's a little dance step. You know, and I remember watching Villanova play this year, earlier in the year, after they had about a 20-day layoff, and they were playing Seton Hall, and you'd think, well, Seton Hall's going to have an edge because they've been playing. Villanova came out, and those kids just wanted to play, so you just don't know how these kids are going to all react from the layoffs or not.
Off the drive to Askew, had it knocked away by Cooper. Turnover, Kentucky. Get into it quickly. Cooper can't hit the 3. Flying in, Thor bounced it off a Kentucky player out of bounds.
Yeah, good decision there by Thor. It's a simple thing, but when that ball was coming back at him, the tendency is to just grab the basketball. So here he saves it. And now when it comes back off the player, do you want to grab that? No, you want to stay away from it because you're out of bounds.
And a technical has been assessed to John Calipari.
We can't read lips.
I did read those lips.
Yep.
Want to know if there was a warning. And the technical has been called on Calipari. Free throw rims out from Alan Flanagan. Don Daly, Vladimir Voyar-Tadal, and Byron Jarrett are officiating crew in Lexington today.
Yeah, and interesting enough, you know, with John Calipari, with 20,000 people not in Rupp Arena right now.
I know where you're going.
Yeah, would he try to bait the crowd into getting behind him, getting him fired up a little bit more, and also get his players fired up? But there's only, what, 3,000 and change in the building today.
Yeah, and we talked to Bruce Pearl about it. How has that affected his job? He said in many ways it's been a benefit. My players can hear me when we're on the road, and under normal conditions at Rupp, you got no shot.
Exactly.
They're on the other side of the floor. They can't hear a thing.
Now, if you're a player and you make a mistake, Ian,
yeah,
then you don't want to hear that coach that easily.
Good point.
But for communication, you're absolutely right, to be able to coach, to be able to help his team at both ends of the floor.
Auburn is crushing Kentucky off the glass. Jump shot doesn't go for Brooks. And it's out of bounds in favor of Auburn.
It's a plus 11 off the boards right now for Auburn.
A change. The officials came in and discussed it. Kentucky's going to keep it.
Here's the work on the glass.
I think it's the right call. Looks
Yeah,
like last touch Cooper.
And there was Ware's hand in there also.
Askew, cross, scoop shot, no. And rebound tracked down by Johnson.
Nice look.
The no look inside to Flanagan, and another transition bucket.
Well, when you turn the basketball over or you rebound it and your offense is tilted towards the middle of the floor in the paint area, boy, automatically you have numbers. Auburn taking advantage of that run out on a 2-on-1 break.
Sarr, double team. Brooks the pull-up. No.
Remember in the first 4 minutes of this game, Kentucky didn't look smooth on the offensive end. They're kind of settling back into a bad groove. Nice block again inside. That should be a grab too.
So Brooks there defensively for the rebound. Cooper couldn't finish it, and a foul is assessed.
So here you are, push the action, force the defender. You see Allen react defensively, and it's a little shovel pass right across for a 2-on-1 finish. And then try not to go in deep because everybody gets a piece of the action. If you're Kentucky defensively, Brooks that time with the block.
Bruce Pearl has 5 freshmen, 4 sophomores. He talked about it like every coach has. No real offseason to train and get them mentally and physically ready. Askew, the flip. That's the first time he was aggressively looking for his shot in this first half.
Yeah, and then squared his shoulders also. One time driving to the basket, he didn't square those shoulders. He went in there kind of like worried about getting his shot blocked. Yeah. That was a trip just then with confidence and a little more positivity.
And they needed that bucket. Thor off the rim. Rebound cleared by Jackson. Under 2 minutes to go in this first half. Does this give Askew a little burst of confidence?
Good pass. It's just a simple pass there in the offense. Good work. You get to the line if you're Brooks.
So Brooks draws the foul. Johnson was there defensively. Keon Brooks is very lanky, 7'1" wingspan. He's got an impressive vertical. He fits into that hybrid forward role with soft hands. Shooting it at 81% at the free throw line. Coming up, AT&T at the half. Greg, Clarke, Seth, they'll get you caught up on all the scores, highlights. Busy day in college basketball. That's coming up on AT&T at the half.
Nice grab.
It's Sarr with the offensive board, and then a takedown by Akingbala.
That obviously is the 8th team foul on Auburn, so an opportunity to get a couple more at the line.
Well, Stretch got that 7'5" wingspan in on the action. So that means free throws here for Sarr, who shoots it at 76%. Transfer from Wake Forest. He's added some weight through the years, now checking in at 237 on that 7-foot frame.
You always look at me when you say somebody's gaining weight.
Well, it's been a long quarantine, Jimmy. 1 out of 2 for Sarr. Now, you're very svelte. You swim. You still find a way to swim. 33-28. Auburn leads it with 1:24 to go in this first half. High screen, Akingbala. Jump shot goes down. Sharif Cooper for 3.
Yeah, it's not really having a good shooting game from the outside, getting shots blocked. That time they elect to give him a little room on the outside, and the youngster just basically takes it and very comfortably makes it.
Auburn now up by 8. We've got 1 minute to play in the half. Nice no look. Denial on the inside. Akingbala there to meet Isaiah Jackson. Kept alive. Sarr the throwdown. Good effort from Kentucky.
To emphasize how big a block that was, Jackson really gets off the floor and goes after it too. Was looking for a big delivery just then.
And a foul called on the other end. Woo!
Well, Stretch looking pretty good just then defensively.
He's strong, he's mobile, but that time he couldn't get to it on the second effort from Sarr.
And Sarr's another guy on the offensive glass, just continues to pound it. 7 of his 10 rebounds the other night against Arkansas off the offensive glass. Hard guy to keep away. Little 2-3 look right now. Watch the back baseline side. Against Arkansas, they had some trouble defending below.
Feed it. Johnson gets it back for Flanagan. 10 to shoot.
Well, the zone has been just enough right here in one possession to get Auburn thinking, what kind of defense is this?
Cooper shifting gears, lost it going to the rim because Sarr was there defensively, and Kentucky can hold for one.
Good job there by Askew just to sit on this, make sure they get a good shot. Worst case, they walk into the locker room down 6. Maybe if they're lucky, they get something better out of it.
4 seconds, 3 seconds. Sarr a 3, short. Rebound.
Shoot it.
Didn't realize that he was running out of time, so Brooks doesn't get a clean shot off, and we hit the break in Lexington. Auburn with a 36-30 lead over Kentucky. SEC action today. Bruce Pearl and John Calipari going head-to-head once again. End of the first half. Time to send you over to New York and at the half with Greg Gumbel. Check out the Capital One first half stats. Kentucky with 7 blocks, 4 from Sarr in that first half. Cooper with 9 points. Brooks, the high man for Kentucky, with 8. Ian Eagle along with Jim Spanarco getting ready for this second half action. What stood out for you in this SEC matchup?
I think from Kentucky's standpoint, only 3 for 11. Remember, they hit 14 threes their last game out against Arkansas. I think one of the adjustments you're going to see, and we talked about this in the first half, get the ball going to the basket a little bit more. They're not a great three-point shooting team. They've improved over the last 3 games or so, but they have to make some adjustments. Only 8 free throw attempts they've had, so they got to get to the line more.
Well, for Kentucky, scoring in general has been a challenge. In the second half in particular, among major conferences, second lowest scoring team in the second half behind just Kansas State.
And remember, this team and John Calipari's team has had trouble in the last 4 minutes of a game. They've had chances to win 3 or 4 games just recently in the last 4 minutes of games, and they did not execute real well. So they have to get themselves in a position to battle back. They're only down 6, so in pretty good shape. There you go underneath and finish it off.
And they get the bucket to Isaiah Jackson. Well, you mentioned it, the Kentucky game against Arkansas had chances, had a lead, lost the game 81-80 on Tuesday night, their 4th consecutive loss.
I love the fact that they start looking down low with a little simple high-low action.
Here's Cooper trying to create on a kick. Flanagan
stepping away, just giving him that shot a little bit. Now look for the drive.
Shot clock winding down. Flanagan, the floater, banks it in. Alan Flanagan knew exactly what he wanted to do.
Yeah, going up that imaginary step ladder there with the left hand, his strong hand.
Flanagan now in double figures, 10 points. 38-32 Auburn. Spread it.
Look underneath, good look.
They hedge on a double kick. Boston, bottom, a 3.
That's nice. That's a nice work there going on the left side. The first look was to the opposite box. Defended fairly well. Then you hit the diagonal. That's a nice little set for Kentucky.
These two teams have split the last 10 meetings. We mentioned the big one, 2019 NCAA tournament. Overtime win for Auburn in the Elite 8. Jump shot from Cambridge, short.
Good work, too, by Askew, just sticking around, trying to help out as a guard, getting a hand in there.
Boston was trying to get Sarr a touch. He'll loop it for Jackson. Now it's Sarr. Drive, kick, Mintz, money, a 3.
Yeah, that's exactly what they talked about with John Calipari. Go inside. If you don't have something there, then kick it out. But be ready to shoot the basketball. If you're not ready to shoot the ball and you turn down an open shot, guess what? John Calipari said you're coming to the bench with me, so guys are looking to shoot it.
We are tied at 38. Flanagan throwing his weight around, comes up short on the floater.
Good work there by Sarr on the defensive glass.
Askew with a purpose.
No.
Rejected. The power of Thor.
Very nice.
Kentucky has never led, and Auburn trying to make sure it doesn't happen. Sharif Cooper with a tray. 41-38 Auburn.
They continue to look down low. Bang! Oh.
Sarr looked like he had an open jam. Instead, he's going to the free throw line.
Yeah, it looks like the foul occurs, and here's that blocked shot. A little too much fancy moving the ball back and forth by Askew just then, gives the defender a little time. And there's that half a set shot right there deep for Cooper. Now I see why he missed that shot, because he was over the rim, and a little slam on that right elbow will cause the ball to go a little stronger against the back of the iron.
That is the third foul on Jalen Williams. And Sarr will get a second free throw. So Williams sits for Auburn. Lefties had an outstanding season at 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks per game.
And not having him on the floor for offensive second chance opportunities is a big loss for Auburn right now.
2-point lead for the Tigers. Cooper using a screen from Cardwell. Tried to get it to him. Ball gets ricocheted out of bounds. Auburn retains.
That was pretty close. It looked like that could have gone off Cooper just then. Little traffic action again where he gets in trouble. He was trying to go for a lob to his right. And here's the play, and let's take a look.
Tough.
Yeah, it is. The Kentucky player's hand kind of going from low to high. Oh, baby, that's going the other way, isn't it?
Flanagan, offensive foul, and it's Mintz who took the pop.
Good choice, good footwork by Mintz. Yep, he catches it a little bit off the graze of the shoulder there, maybe a little bit off the right side of the chin. Nice defensive effort, though.
Kentucky down by 2.
Looking again for the high-low. This time they're squeezing it.
Whoa, Jackson! He tried for the monumental finish on the elevation. A foul was called.
Check out where he starts his jump on this. It's out by the letter, the SEC. Wow.
Cardwell just gets up after the full extension and throwdown attempt from Isaiah Jackson. Foul was called on Thor. It's number 2. Askew kick. And another whistle. They foul Sarr on the outside. Cardwell and Cooper having a conversation.
It looked like Cardwell again putting the hands out. Number 3 on him. So another one of their big guys, 6'11" freshman, goes to the bench.
So Akingbola will check in. They do have a lot of big bodies they can mix and match. Askew.
Good decision.
Off the penetration. Sarr, the kick. It's a 3. Kentucky leads 42-41.
Now, as we've seen Askew get in trouble driving to the basket, just recently getting his shot blocked. What does he do? He makes an adjustment on the fly and flips one back out to a guy they've been trying to set up all afternoon.
First lead of the day for Kentucky. Cooper is off the mark.
Yeah, Askew continues to do a nice job, Ian, of just staying back. Sometimes the guards will cheat and head towards the other end of the floor. He's helping out with the rebounds.
Boston the pull-up. Follow goes. Jackson was by himself on the weak side. And it's coming the other way.
Go to the middle of the floor if you can.
Mintz.
Nice look.
Cutter. Sarr wasn't expecting it. He saves it. Boston off the ball fake. Step back, Jay. Got a 3.
It might be time to talk things over if you're Auburn right now.
Kentucky has found a flow at Rupp. And it's been the first time in a while. 9-0 run.
Yeah, when you get it going and make good decisions, and there was the first one to get it to Sarr. 53% shooter from the three-point line. Then you go to work on the offensive glass, finish it off if you're Jackson. And the Kentucky offense is cooking finally.
One of the best offensive stretches of the season for the Kentucky Wildcats. They now lead Auburn 47-41. Earlier today here on CBS, we got a little glimpse of what the selection committee is thinking with the March Madness bracket preview show. Number 1 seeds right now, Gonzaga, Baylor, Ohio State, and Michigan. It's just interesting to get a taste of the inside as we get closer and closer to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, and I just think there are going to be so many different moving parts in the month of February, Ian. But one thing that I always look at, and these teams, you know, the top 4 teams that we've listed there have been pretty consistent. Obviously, Gonzaga and Baylor, obviously very, very good. But in that month of February, you really try to build on the foundation that you've set for the first couple of months of the season. and then get your rhythm going. So really with these teams, it's a matter of who can get better and better, because they all have played pretty well this season.
Auburn, a self-imposed postseason ban, so they will not be a part of the SEC tournament or the NCAA tournament. Jump shot doesn't go. Follow also off the mark, but Auburn just keeps on coming at you. Chris Moore, another big body for the Tigers. (47-43) Kentucky.
Little matchup zone right now for Auburn. And once again, watch the middle of the floor sometimes if they seal right now.
The jump shot, hot hand. Boston can't get it to drop. Rebound controlled by Thor.
Yeah, quickly you see that Kentucky recognized the Auburn defense not recognizing on the corners. An opportunity for Auburn to get some shooters and space them out.
Kick, ball fake. Moore for Thor. And no call, going to the rim.
We got numbers.
5-on-4 here developing for Toppin. Give it up. Brooks on a kick. Boston a three. Bullseye.
So Kentucky comes out shooting the ball from long range, but every single time that they've gotten a good shot from the three-point stripe, where they were struggling in the first half, now all of a sudden they're dragging the ball to the middle of the floor, driving it to the ball, and then kicking it out. Much easier way to shoot the basketball.
12-2 run. Bucket goes for Sharife Cooper, getting to the rim. Kentucky is 5 of 6 on threes this half. They lead at 50-45.
And boy, when you see the ball go through the hoop, don't you look a little bit more confident at the offensive end?
Turnaround, Isaiah Jackson, and the foul. Kentucky extends the lead. Wildcats just trying to find a rhythm here down the stretch of the season, and maybe even make a late run into March. Jimmy, on our fast analysis presented by AT&T 5G. At the top of the show, you highlighted three-point shooting, and that's exactly how it's playing out.
Yeah, against Arkansas, that last game out, 14 threes they made, and now all of a sudden these guys look collectively and on an individual basis that they're much more confident in sharing the basketball. I like the fact that they're testing the waters underneath, kicking it out. Pretty good rhythm, and when you look at these numbers, first half 3 of 11, now 5 of 6, and how about the tale of two halves also overall? 0 for 8 when Kentucky started this game from the floor, and now 8 of 11 overall for John Calipari's team in the second half. Just a totally different start than compared to the first half.
And Coach Calipari, prior to the game, he told us these guys are just realizing that they need each other. Usually that happens over the summer into the fall when you're creating chemistry and building it through practices and other team events. Obviously, every team is going through this, but when you're churning through new freshman after new freshman, continuity is such a big key. Jackson, the discard of Cooper. Outside jumper, doesn't go for Johnson, follows it, and Johnson trying to get it out of there. Jackson gets his hand on it, and a foul call that's going to stay right here on Jackson.
Jackson just his eagerness to go after that basketball, but here's the trouble that you have with Kentucky and their size. Jackson is a supreme shot blocker in the SEC, and they just close it up so quickly. And notice how he stays away. One of the things that Jackson does so well, Ian, is that he doesn't swipe at the ball until it leaves your fingertips. He's not trying to get it while you still hold it.
That is his first foul. Williams in, loses it. Turnover, Auburn. Mintz trying to create an opening here. Kentucky trying to bring this lead to double figures. Brandon Boston has shot it well. And a technical has been assessed on Auburn, stopping the possession. So we had one on Calipari. Bruce Pearl behind that mask. It doesn't mean you won't hear what he has to say.
Yeah, and I think it had to do with the play at the other end of the floor, where it looked like one of his players on his team got swiped across the arm and lost that turnover, and then it turned around and went the other end in a hurry, and the T catches up. Sooner or later it'll catch up.
Devin Askew, a 77% shooter for Kentucky.
And one of the things, too, we've spoken about Auburn being so young in both of these teams. That when you think about coming back, you know, Kentucky basically had 6% of their offense coming back from last year. Auburn 16%. And I think this is where that, you tell me.
Did he lose it prior?
May have lost it prior, but.
There's contact, clearly.
There's contact, yeah.
Both arms got hit on the chop down.
But regardless, if you're the coach and you're standing right across and your vision is looking at that play, you're defending your player.
Kentucky now leads by 10. Brooks makes his move.
Oh, that's a step.
Traveling called on Keon Brooks Jr. Right now it's 25-9 this half in favor of John Calipari's squad.
So it just breeds the question, where does Auburn start to get some of their looks, get some of their easier looks? And they're a little stagnant right now against this little look of a 2-3 zone again. They really haven't figured out what to do in terms of attacking this. And I can tell you one thing, if you're just passing the ball back and forth and not challenge anybody, it's not going to work. There you go.
That will work with Flanagan, confident play, going to the rack.
Yeah, and if you saw those 1 or 2, maybe 3 passes around the perimeter, not going to get it done against the zone. A little body bump through the middle of the lane.
And it was Cardwell, the guilty party. Tuesday, 3 Eastern, Champions League soccer returns. Messi and Barcelona taking center stage as they face PSG. First leg of the round of 16 on CBS Sports Network and CBS All Access. That is number 4 on Dylan Cardwell. So we know Williams was in foul trouble with 3. Another big Cardwell with 4 currently on the bench. Cardwell did not play his senior year of high school because of a transfer issue going back to Georgia from Oak Hill.
And that was Auburn's 7th team foul, too. So obviously, little delay there in getting him to the line. I think they were confused as to whether it was the 7th or 6th. But nonetheless, with 12:26 left, that's a long way to go if you're Kentucky to get to the free throw line.
That could mean a whole lot of free throws for the Wildcats. And the question will start popping up as we get deeper into this second half. Can Kentucky finish? That's been the issue for John Calipari's team. They've been in the hunt for a bunch of games. Turnover, stepping on the baseline on the trigger. So Kentucky will get it back up by 10.
Yeah, and there's one way to avoid those tough losses at the end of games if you're up 10 points when you get there. But here he comes. We'll take a look.
Well, yeah, right there, just across.
He got thrown up there off by Askew just then defensively.
And a foul called as Mintz got hit on the inside. He wanted the goaltend as well. So more free throws here for Kentucky. 2 shots for Davion Mintz.
And I would say from both ends of the floor, Bruce Pearl's team, not his best, almost 8 minutes of action here. See him trying to get the bench motivated, but he's got to turn around and get those guys on the floor. Basically get their chemistry back at the offensive end, because they've looked kind of like Kentucky did starting this game, when Kentucky started at 0 for 8 and just looked lost at the offensive end.
Well, how did Bruce Pearl describe it to us when we chatted with him yesterday? He said, look, this has been a rebuild. Reminded him of 4 years ago when Jared Harper and Wiley were there, that 16-17 season when they turned the roster over and those young players developed, got experience, and became something. Between Austin Wiley and Harper, eventually others joined in with Samir Dowdy and Javon McCormick, Anthony McLemore. Denial on the inside. We get a full tie-up with Sarr.
So you have some action there at the defensive end of the floor again for Kentucky. It goes down and they just continue. I think that's a good no call right there, and a pretty good defensive play by Franklin, getting his hands on the basketball. So Auburn retains or gets the possession.
Cooper swing. Auburn needs a bucket. And it's not going to come there from Williams. Offensive rebound for Franklin. Giveaway.
Nice look.
Up ahead. Askew's got the angle, and he's got the layup.
Now, this is an Auburn team that just looks thrown off by the Kentucky defense at this particular point. They have taken Cooper out of this game for the most part and directing the traffic, Ian. And I know he'll come back and make a play for you. Gets fouled out front just then. But still, they've controlled him pretty nicely in terms of not letting him do his thing. And Kentucky in the second half looks like a different team for John Calipari. Off they go with a little 1-on-0, the best fast break you can get.
CBS Sports college basketball coverage is sponsored by Geico. You could save even more by bundling home and car insurance. Coca-Cola Zero Sugar tastes unbelievably delicious. And by Mercedes-Benz. Elite Eight NCAA Tournament 2019 in Kansas City. Auburn beat Kentucky 77-71 in overtime. It was a tremendous showing by Bruce Pearl's squad. They eventually lost to the national champion, Virginia, in the Final Four, but as Bruce described, it was a breakthrough moment for the program.
It sure was. A terrific time for Bruce Pearl. Not so much right now in the second half, though, with his team down 30-11 in second half scoring, and they got to really figure out a way to get on track at the offensive end. This is a long team that Kentucky has, blocking their shots, making it difficult to drive it to the basket.
Franklin can't finish it.
Yeah, perfect example of it right there.
And none of these combinations right now are working for Auburn offensively.
Yeah, so they got to make it up at the defensive end.
Foul called before.
And it is Sarr going the other way.
Yeah, creating space against the smaller Franklin.
And the positioning by Sarr in the middle of the lane. Now watch as the ball's coming to him. Does he push off a little bit? Yeah, he puts his hand right in the face of the defender, and there's a reason he's that wide open.
First foul on Olivier Sarr. Cooper in. We hit 11 minutes to play in this second half. Cooper against Askew. Cross, switch, lob it up to Flanagan. Using the window and creating some space for himself. The physical play of Alan Flanagan.
And that's just a terrific play by Flanagan to finish that play off on, because you noticed how Kentucky was the weak side, slid across the floor. He was double teamed. He knew he had to go with it, though.
Boston feeling it. B.J. Boston, a deep shot.
And the threes continue to really work well in the spacing of the floor. Goes Askew again with his hands defensively, triggering a defensive opportunity for Kentucky.
And another Auburn turnover. Oh, Boston. Wow, off the rim. There was no hesitation. Boston, all of his points have come from beyond the arc. Working it inside. Cooper has it blocked, retrieves it. Flanagan will try. Got it, a three.
Yeah, nice recovery by Cooper. I think Kentucky has figured out Cooper pretty well, Ian, in terms of the way he tries to hesitate a little bit once he starts going into the air to try to finish. He's got to learn to get that shot off much faster.
Askew off-balance delivery. You're right. They did it against him in the first meeting. They have scouted him perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, you just watch tendencies, and if you watch him long enough,
Flanagan is way off.
You'll pick up these tendencies, and you'll just be able to time it a little bit better. Don't jump at his first move, jump at his second move. Have the second guy in to help out defensively.
Devin Askew, originally from Sacramento, California. A lot of responsibility being a point guard at Kentucky. He reclassified, originally was in the 21 class. Boston, no, that was for two. Rebound snatched by Brooks.
Pretty good set just then. Johnson slipping down.
Athletic play. Toppin can't finish it. Here comes Auburn. Cooper with a head of steam. Ball fake. They wanted to travel on him. Push shot doesn't go for Johnson.
Yeah,
and a foul called
by Flanagan.
Over 20 million people watched the premiere of The Equalizer. Tomorrow, Queen Latifah returns to equalize injustice once again. Watch a brand new Equalizer tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, or stream anytime on CBS. So Sharife Cooper, we mentioned he missed the first 11 games of the season. So the numbers are based on a smaller sample size, but they're still very impressive. Assists per game, getting himself to the free throw line consistently. obviously changed the way Auburn plays once he entered the lineup.
He really has, but to the point we've been just making, Kentucky has scouted him very, very well on an individual basis. You saw those 4 turnovers. He had 4 turnovers in the first meeting. So just not getting untracked and is not as comfortable as we've seen him in previous games watching him.
Cooper and Flanagan have combined for 31 of Auburn's 52 points, and a foul called on Cardwell. That's the quota. He's done for the day.
Yeah, and that ball wasn't even coming in his direction, too, so no need to foul right there on that lower right block. Ball was going away from him. So see, the ball right now is not coming in his direction. I don't see much of a foul there either.
Nope.
Maybe the hand got up a little high. Let's see if he hits him in the face. Yeah, there it is. That's what he called. The right elbow going to the right chin.
He and Toppin got into it a little bit, and it's Cardwell who gets charged with the foul. No points on the day.
Yeah, maybe an inadvertent swing to the chin, but still, nonetheless, it catches the eye of the official.
Mintz gives it up. Boston loops it in for Brooks. Try to make that move on the baseline. Thor gets a piece. Cooper. Thor, a 3.
Boy, if they ever needed a bucket to go in just then. Nice little setup by Cooper that time, bringing guys with him. Everybody looks at him from a defensive standpoint. And just a little trail with his big guy following up at 6'10", being able to shoot the long ball like that.
And Jimmy's got a high release point, so it's going to be tough to block Thor's shot. Boston challenging, slam down on the follow. Keon Brooks Jr. climbs the ladder.
Yeah, 2 guys trying to block a shot. Nobody gets a body.
Thor. Wow, nice looking delivery from JT Thor.
In the last 3 or 4 games, his numbers have been down previous to his 7 games prior to that iron, but all of a sudden he's lighting it up a little bit from long range.
He's got good mechanics,
yes,
too.
He sure does. It's a great looking shot. Forget that some of these guys who shoot the ball from long range, he's 6 foot 10 inches tall.
Back to single digits, 67-58 Kentucky. Mintz is open. Rebound, foot 4, tip in, slam down on the follow. Isaiah Jackson crashing the offensive glass.
A little volleyball set up there, I think, by Toppin just then, too. He was the one who got that ball up in the air again to put it off the glass.
16 points, 9 rebounds, and a block for Isaiah Jackson. Out of bounds, the official needs some help. Auburn will retain.
And one of the things that Bruce Pearl was concerned about was the fact that Kentucky loves to go after the offensive glass. There's that little setup, and there's the big finish for Jackson on the offensive glass.
Game summary at Rupp. Rough second half for Auburn. Kentucky has taken advantage. Wildcats shooting the ball a lot better in the second half. Auburn has turned it over 15 times, and Kentucky has a double-digit lead.
Yeah, and 16 turnovers is their average. So this is, as we touched on, Bruce Pearl's team is a very young team, and they're playing like it a little bit in the second half, where on the other side of the ball, Kentucky has really taken Bruce Pearl's team, scoring 30 points in the first half, but John Calipari, and then all of a sudden they put up 39.
So leading in the second half, that's not been the issue. Finishing games for Kentucky has. Bruce Pearl imploring his team to get into the set here with 10 to shoot. Cooper makes his move.
Good look.
Extra feed. Ball is popping. Jump shot goes down. It's Flanagan.
Yeah, that's the benefits of Cooper, though, making that first pass. There might be an offensive foul on Askew, too, with a little bit of a push-off.
It is.
In Cooper's face. Now, here's an opportunity if Auburn can take advantage of this, and get a little rhythm at the offensive end. Get 2 consecutive scores, make something happen, and all of a sudden you're believing that you can win this game again. There's a left arm and elbow going up high against Cooper.
Now we're going to get a timeout. The officials might take a look at this thing.
I believe they are.
So Devin Askew was very confident that he did not do what the officials thought he did as they were triggering the ball inbounds.
Yeah, they may be looking also at whether or not this was a high elbow to the face. And I think that's a basketball play.
Yeah, it's a play on.
Yeah, Cooper's coming in. It's an inadvertent. I mean, that's not.
No, he caught him with the elbow.
Yeah, he did get him with the elbow, but I'd still say it wasn't an extend. The elbow was extended.
I agree.
As the contact was made on that one. So I would go just simple. It's not simple because you just got hit in the face. I don't mean it from that perspective, but it's just a common call.
Common foul, but John Calipari was wondering if they were going to get the ball back. What they're telling Calipari is, no, we're not going to go beyond what the call was on the floor. The call will stand, and it's a foul on Askew. So Auburn will have possession, trailing 69-60, 6:35 to play, second half. Thor lobs it in. Flanagan.
Make sure you get set and you get a good shot right here.
Flanagan drives, kicks.
Keep driving it. Yeah,
and another travel.
Yeah, we've seen Cooper do that the second time. He's got a little bit of a dance step going there once he starts going into his move. We'll take a look to see if we can see it. Here's the kick out. Let's see what pivot foot is his left. Yep, you see him lift it up. He lifts that left one up before he puts it on the floor. That left foot was his pivot foot. Sometimes you learn to catch the ball on 2 feet instead of just one when you land.
16 Auburn turnovers and a wasted opportunity for the Tigers. Askew couldn't get to an opening, turning the corner on Flanagan. Shot clock winding down. Sarr put it low, saves it. Askew's going to have to hoist and hits a three.
The utilization of just one big stride to his left. Now, sometimes you get in trouble because the defender was right on his right hip, but the defender just stayed away. But that's a huge hit and a broken play for Kentucky.
Yeah, that's the amazing part. Askew is forced to shoot it on a busted play, and he connects. Foul called as Flanagan takes it into the paint.
So sometimes you see the defender here, and when you're looking at it, Cooper's on his right side, but he lays back a little bit, which is generally a smart play. You don't want to foul a shooter just then, especially as the shot clock is going down. But a huge bucket for Askew to give him some confidence and also a little more separation on the scoreboard for Kentucky.
That is the 4th foul on Davion Mintz. New Thursday, Clarice Starling is back. Her story is only beginning. Watch the new series, The Wall Street Journal says, packs an undeniable emotional punch. A new Clarice. Thursday at 10, 9 Central, or stream anytime at CBS.
And both of these teams are just about 70% from the free throw line for the season, too, Ian, so no advantage from that perspective.
Contact away from the ball, and once again it works against Kentucky. Auburn is going to have it.
Yeah, initially the official pointed the other direction, but watch Sarr here, number 30, as he comes into the play. A little traffic there. I don't know if the defender's really totally set. No, I don't think he was.
So initially pointing that way, and Sarr is forced to the bench with his 2nd foul. I mean, again, the cavernous setup of the arena, you can hear everything.
That's going to be 2. Goaltending.
Yep, count it for Jalen Williams, and it's Toppin who got it late.
Now all of a sudden that little bit of shift of momentum, you can tell with Auburn just kind of creeping back into this slowly. Let's see if Kentucky can answer right now. As you see some full court action, that's a lazy pants.
The flip goes for Cambridge. Askew coughs it up, and Auburn is rallying. 72-66. Kentucky leads it. Auburn has made 5 in a row. Our game reset, 5.5 to play. Auburn clawing back into it. Looked like Kentucky might run away from the Tigers, but if this keeps popping up, late game mistakes for the Wildcats.
And I watch the way this defense comes in. It's a nice decision by Pearl, but where's the help from the Kentucky player? Does he come here, or is he supposed to come and make himself available? So he never gets into a position. You see Boston at the top on the right side. He's standing way outside, nobody helping. I like the choice by Bruce Pearl to go full court here for a team that has struggled to close out games in Kentucky over the last 4 games that they've played.
And they've been struggling just to get the ball in cleanly here. That was a 6-0 run over 10 seconds. It took 10 seconds to put 6 points on the board.
And now you see the little jump in their step collectively.
Brooks, no good. Rebound controlled with 4 Auburn players underneath.
This is a big possession for Auburn at the offensive end, and obviously with Kentucky too, but if they can continue getting scores and build on the confidence.
Cooper lost it underneath. Break opportunity. Mintz. Oh, Mintz on a major rack attack.
All because they played Cooper very well again defensively to shut him down at the defensive end, and they go in a hurry for a quick turnaround, which is a huge bucket for Kentucky.
The grad transfer gives Kentucky an 8-point lead, 4.5 to play in this second half.
Small versus big right here with Jackson.
Cooper, a 3. Too strong. Rebound. Thor taps the ball to himself and controls for Auburn. Cooper, step back Jay. Rims out. Rebound battle. Scooped up. Thor turns and connects off the window.
Boy, Thor has given them good minutes too. 14 points. And once again, looking to push down the floor. And nothing there on the defensive set with the traps.
Kentucky up by 6 with under 4 minutes to play at Rupp. Mintz out front.
And this is where John Calipari would tell his guys, he really doesn't want to tell them, don't turn the basketball over, because you don't want to put that in their minds. You want them to play freely.
Mintz can't hit the 3. Rebound on the hands of Jackson, and a foul called against Auburn.
Well, when things were working out well for Auburn, they come back defensively and they snuff it out. Maybe a little contact there, but here's a great finish. Boy, just puts the finishing touches on that one in a hurry.
BS. Third round, Daniel Berger, the leader at 13 under par. We'll have all the action for you coming up. Jim Nantz and the rest of the crew live from Pebble. Still work to do here, though. Kentucky 74, Auburn 68, 3:39 to play in regulation, and a pair of free throws for Isaiah Jackson.
Yeah, we've spoken about the last 4 minutes of games. If you think about the last 4 games that Kentucky has played, they've basically been outscored by 40 in that last four minutes of 4 games, especially with the 1-point loss to Arkansas. So John Calipari's squad has to get a free throw here and then get a stop to build that confidence so they don't turn the basketball over, especially, you know, their next trip down on the offensive end.
Calipari, who turned 62 earlier this week. Happy birthday to him. Also, congratulations, Kentucky basketball director of communications, Eric Lindsay, and his wife Stephanie welcomed a baby girl into the world this week. Adeline Ruth Lindsay, the latest Wildcat fan.
4 again from long range, and congratulations to them.
75-71, Kentucky, 3:20 to play.
So we just look at the possessions now. In the first couple of possessions under the 4-minute mark, is this team thinking that we have trouble to close out games, or that they believe that they can score? It's going to be a little offensive foul just then going down that set.
And the 3 will not count for Boston because of the activity.
I think it was Brooks in the middle of the lane, moving a little bit there. That's why he was so wide open. And so now, lack of confidence at the offensive end, which watch number 12, Brooks.
Yeah, it looks like those two got tied up. Flanagan and Thor,
blue
not
jerseys,
Brooks.
didn't it?
It sure did.
Nonetheless,
Cooper to the rim, hangs, can't convert. Ball gets knocked around like a pinball, out of bounds. Kentucky can't believe that it's last touch on them.
Yeah, I can generally look at the player or players, in this case reaction, to see what the call should be. And all 3 Kentucky players thought if they had whistles, which they don't, ball would have been their possession, but it stays with Auburn.
Trigger in for Flanagan. Off the double team, Kentucky second to the last in the SEC in scoring, 68.5 points per game. They put up 75 today and lead by 4. Deep one, Flanagan. Rebounded by Toppin.
Have to get something better than that, especially against this team. Force Kentucky to defend you.
Askew using the high screen. Makes his drive. Kick. Toppin not looking to shoot it. Askew now caught in the corner, may need a timeout. And he gets one on the double team. Kentucky maintains possession. They've got a 4-point lead on Auburn coming down the stretch. We have been waiting for the hammer of Thor. What we've gotten is the three-point shooting of Thor.
I'm supposed to react to that, huh?
Yeah, just go with the highlights.
Just watch it. It's beautiful. Nobody reacting to him. A little bit of a delayed fast break. He comes back 2 times. It hits the 3 from straight up. Just a beautiful looking stroke by Thor.
75-71 Kentucky. We approach 2 minutes to play. Shot clock is down to 7. Askew trying to make his move, gets to the rim, hesitates, and it's blocked by Jalen Williams.
Wow, on the way down to Williams got that. He was faked out just for a second and then regathered to strip the ball. And Cooper's got to make good decisions, especially if he decides he's going to go towards the basket.
Under 2 minutes to play. Auburn down by 4 to Kentucky. Cooper needs help. Lob it in. Thor turns, banks it in.
Thor is just catching it and going with it. And you notice how he caught it and there was no hesitation. Him saying to himself, hey, what should I do with the ball when I catch it? It's catch and go. And that lefty always has a little bit of an advantage because guys are jumping towards the right side of his body.
Kentucky up by 2.
Oh, watch out.
Upstairs, a special delivery to Keon Brooks for the flush.
Yeah, what a great answer by Kentucky just then. One that they obviously needed.
Cooper gets in, reverse no, Toppin goes. JT Thor controlling the glass. 21 points for Thor, 2-point game with just over a minute to play. Askew made the beautiful pass inside for Brooks.
A little matchup zone right now, a little different look.
Boston, fake.
Good deflection on the hands to throw the offense off, and there's a steal.
Mintz turns it over. Flanagan, straight line to the rim. We're tied, 77 apiece.
You notice how the lefty went towards his left just then. He started at half court, power dribbling down the middle of the floor after the steal and the turnover. And what do? He gets a power drive to his strong hand to be able to finish it. Kentucky having trouble trying to figure out this matchup right now.
Wildcats led by as many as 14. Mintz, splash, a 3.
Well, he had a big one the other night at the end of the game, too, against Arkansas. Wasn't enough to hold on.
Cool Mintz for Kentucky, up by 3. Timeout called by Auburn, 28.4 to play. Can the Wildcats hold on at Rupp? AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am coming up next year on CBS. It is available right now on PGAtour.com and CBSSports.com. 28.4 on the clock. Kentucky 80, Auburn 77.
So clearly, if you're thinking the way Auburn should be thinking at the offensive end of the floor, just because you're down 3 doesn't mean that you need a 3-point shot at this point in the game. I would look to start to think about getting something to the basket. Obviously, Cooper, who has had some troubles driving it to the middle of the lane, he's a guy who's going to probably be featured.
It's Cooper.
Wow.
Rejected Jackson. Big defensive play for Kentucky. And a foul called with 22 seconds left.
Now, the Auburn bench just then thought that he got that shot up quick enough to get it to the glass. The question is, did he get it to the glass? Hard to tell on that angle, but it's below the rim anyway, so you can take it if it's below the rim. That's one of the rules on that. You can take it below the rim off the glass.
10th team block for the Kentucky Wildcats. And now Jacob Toppin at the free throw line where he shoots it at 75%. Short-armed it. It's been a frustrating day for Cooper. Going to the basket, normally finishes that he makes, but Kentucky converges. 1 out of 2 for Toppin. That was a big one, 81-77.
Now you want to get this thing going towards the basket. Don't settle for a bad shot here. If you can get a quick one going through the hoop, take it.
Taking time, though, 15 seconds. Cooper inside. Reverse no, slam follow, won't go for Williams. Kentucky's got it, and a foul called with 8.3. Chances for Auburn. They come up empty, and Kentucky will have a chance to ice it at the free throw line.
Well, the downside for Auburn is they do everything correctly and they don't get a 2-point bucket out of here. And one other thing too, on with one miss, two misses, the third tip, what's happening? You're not scoring and you're taking valuable seconds off the clock at the same time. Unfortunate for them, and now all of a sudden you go to the line, and with a 81-77 lead, Kentucky looking pretty good at this point.
Got to make your free throws. Jackson, a 67% shooter. Door is still open here with 8.3. Auburn has one timeout remaining. Kentucky trying to snap a 4-game losing streak.
Now you just stay away if you're John Calipari's team.
82-77.
Token pressure.
Get it in. Flanagan shoots the three, comes up short, and on the baseline with 2.5. Toppin, if he just stood upright, game would have been over. Instead, Auburn will get to trigger in.
So much pressure on Kentucky in the last 4 minutes of the last 5 games, and now all of a sudden they've responded. Will there be a carryover effect at this in the month of February for them?
The last thing you want to do is foul at that point, and Kentucky does foul Thor on a 3-point try.
Absolutely no need for that.
Just back off, let him take a shot, and walk out of Rupp with a win. 3 free throws for JT Thor. We got a timeout with 1.1. It's not quite over yet, but Kentucky on the verge of snapping the losing skid. AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am coming up right here on CBS. You can check it out right now on PGAtour.com and CBSSports.com. All right, Jimmy, take us through the situation here. 3 free throws for JT Thor with Auburn down by 5.
Well, if you're Bruce Pearl, I don't like the chances of this happening, because you need really a lot of things to happen in terms of what is going to play out here. So you need the first 2 free throws to go down, and then it becomes a real interesting scenario, because then you miss the third, because at that particular point you're down 82-79, you're down 3, you miss the shot, but you also have to swat the ball out to the 3-point line. It's not going to be a catch, maybe off the rebound and a quick kick. So this will be interesting, watching this one free throw.
This could set off the domino effect.
It could. You just never know. Oh, beautiful.
Well, there you go.
I love the fact that he's stepping up to the line and making 2 crucial free throws. Now the fun begins.
Now it gets interesting. 1.1 on the clock. Thor, he makes it. So Auburn is down by 2.
I'm not sure about that one. 1.1 second. They just touched the basketball.
Go long, game over.
Yeah.
19th straight win for Kentucky over Auburn at Rupp. The Wildcats hold on 82-80. For Jim Spinarkle, our entire CBS crew, Ian Eagle, so long. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports, home of the 2021 Men's National Championship. We'll get you out to Jim Nance and Company in California. AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am right after this.